what I'm going to share with you is how to reignite the flame, how to live your passion, and how to find your inner boom! I'd like to tell you a story about 3 horses. So the first horse was a very strong and powerful horse. He was a draft horse. So he worked on a farm and he carried the load of his farmer. The next horse is a race horse. So this horse was fast, the fastest thing you had ever seen. The reason why it was so fast, because it had a jockey who sat above this horse, and every time the horse tried to slack off or slow down, the jockey would whip the horse to get it to speed up. Because of that, and because of its speed, the horse ran on the track all day long. He ran in circles, every day just round and round in circles. And because he only knew how to run in circles, that stayed with him for the rest of his life. He stayed in that racetrack, and those blinkers that they have on with them, such focus just to run around those tracks all day long. Moving to the next horse. This is the wild horse. Nay! Nay! This horse liked to have fun. He liked to be silly, he liked to express himself, he liked to play around in the paddocks with all the other horses and the cows and the sheep and all the other animals on the farm or in the paddock, wherever he might have wandered to. So let me tell you about dreams. Your dreams and desires. You're put on this life for a reason, and your life is full of years, and you have a certain time on this earth. So they one day will end. So your dreams also have an expiry date. So where do these dreams come from? Let me take you back to your childhood. Children have the most amazing imaginations. They create all these different ideas of what you're going to be in your future. I'm going to be a scientist, I'm going to be a doctor, all sorts of different things. I'd like you to raise your hand if you had a dream as a kid. Keep that hand up if you're still living that dream today. Have a look around the room. So what I'm going to do tonight is share some reasons why a lot of people don't live their dreams. So when you're in your early days, you are exposed to a whole range of people. Different people from all sorts of walks of life. One of the types of people that you're going to experience are the dream killers. The people who are going to listen to your dreams and push you down no matter what they are. They're going to tell you can't do that, you're not smart enough, you'll never be wise enough to do that, you're stupid, you can't achieve that. Then you've got the campers who put their foot in the ground and say, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. They have a goal, they reach it, and they stay put. Moving to the other group of people. These are the people that fly. They acknowledge their dreams and they let them soar, take it to new heights, places they had never been before. Imagine if you knew what your passion was and you could live it every day of your life. What would that be like for you? How would your life be different now than what it could have been? So moving up from a childhood to your schooling education, you're taught. Go to school, get a good education, live the life that we've all been taught to live. Go to school, great education, go off to university, go into the workplace. But what happens? A lot of us do that. We go into the corporate land or wherever our workplace might be, and we're stuck behind a desk, 9 till 5, just every day doing the same thing, day out, day in, day out. And it often can feel tiresome, a little bit boring, but that's just what we do to bring in the money for the family, to bring in the food, just to call up some people, ask them about tax, you know? That's just what I do. So that is one thing you could do. However, you might be wondering, why do some people live their dreams? and why some people don't. As we learned before, we've got something called the amygdala, lives in this little box. And it's responsible for some F's. Now, not the F's you've been thinking about. We've got F this and F that. We've got flight or fight. What are you going to do when you come across a decision? What decision will you make? Are you going to stand up for what you believe in and take a stand and move forward? Or are you going to run and hide and fit in with the rest of society, not leave the tribe of what everyone else wants you to do or expects you to do? What decision are you going to make to help move your future the way you want to move it forward? Not what everyone else thinks you should do or could do. I'd like to share you a story about what happened to me. I grew up, I had all these dreams, I went through school, and I got to the point where I was just about to finish school. And normally, society tells you, go to school, go to university, go into the workplace. So I thought, even though my dream says otherwise, I'll do what society tells me to do. So I enrolled myself in a business degree in university, but I decided it wasn't for me. I didn't gel with it because it wasn't in line with my passion. So I decided to defer, and I went on to do other things. Things that I was more passionate about, my personal training, my massage, things in the health industry. And so now I'm living my passion, which is fantastic. I'm having so much fun, and I just observe other people. And I tell them, you can have that too. It's just the decisions that you make. What would it be like for you if you made that decision all those years ago to change? Where would your life be now if you decided to change? Isn't it interesting? And I know it's good to think those thoughts, because at some level you know that that passion deep inside of you can ponder and explode and create the life you've always known you could achieve. So, where do we go from here? In order to change, we have to accept where we are right now and decide, do we want to change? Do we want to move forward in life and create those dreams and those goals and those passions? Or do we want to stay where we are? If the answer is yes, you've got to decide, yes, I'm going to change. I want to move forward in my life. And you've got to detach. You've got to detach from all of society's beliefs, society's expectations of what you should do, what you could do, and follow your own heart. Because when you follow your own heart, when you follow your passions, that's when the magic happens. Imagine if your heart could tell you when decisions were beneficial to you and when they weren't. Imagine if you listened to your heart, where you would be. Who would be in your close group of friends, your family? What would you be doing for a living? So I just want you to consider that for a moment. What could you do differently now, from today, that would create some sort of change to ignite that fire in you, that passion, that burning desire to where you were and where you can be? So make that decision. So there we were, back on the farm, and we're visiting the draft horse. This draft horse, it's having fun, it's plowing the land, but all it does all day long is plow, carrying the burden of its owner. Whatever the owner needs, the horse plows. Doesn't ask any questions, it just does, because it knew that it was a horse. But the owner put another name on it, and it became a draft horse. Moving to the race horse. This race horse is still the race horse, controlled by its owner, its jockey, whipping him every time he stops, every time he slows down, every time he doesn't win the race that we live, and people watch, and people put expectations on you to win. You got to win this, you've got to win that. And this racehorse continues to do that all the time. Win, 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 because of all the whips he gets from his owner. All society, everyone's coming to see him, succeed. But where does this horse go? All it can go is round in circles because of its focus. It's closed off to the rest of the world. It only knows one thing, to run around doing the same thing day in, day out. Moving to the wild horse, the horse with all the freedom, the power, the magic. One day it decides to walk down to the river. And it's walking along, and all of a sudden it sees this river and it sees its reflection. It has to look down, and it doesn't recognize himself for a minute. All of a sudden, he sees some wings appearing out of his back, and in their beautiful big white wings, and he starts to notice that they move. So he decides, I've got this special power that I hadn't had before. I'm going to experiment with it. I'm going to go out into the wild and start flapping my wings. Faster and faster he goes out into the paddocks, and all of a sudden, he takes flight. He's up in the air, he's soaring, he's going to new heights, new places that he never had thought he could go. So, my question to you, which horse are you? Which horse do you want to become? Just imagine, from all that I've spoken about tonight, if you could make one change, what would that be? To help you live in the future, to create the magic, to have the flow. Imagine if. What? How? What would change in my life? What magic would happen? What would come into my life and create more abundance, more magic, more connections, and more fun? Because when we truly spread our wings, we can learn to fly. Boom!